What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unplayable, the Conversation Lab, your favorite show about our favorite games, Star Wars Unlimited specifically. And we got all four of us, the Fantastic Four, back in the saddle, recording content. How you doing, guys?
Fantastic Four was a nice reference there because it's all about like Marvel Rivals and Snap are all about Fantastic Four right now because that's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go. I almost went and saw the new Captain America movie by myself a couple days ago, and I was too tired.
Wow. Me too.
Wow.
And I didn't.
I heard it's not very good, but I still want to see it.
Jim,
I'm so far behind on Marvel movies.
Jim, you remember back at Gen Con how we snuck away from all the games to go watch Deadpool vs. Wolverine?
100%. Absolutely.
I'm jealous of that.
That's a highlight of Gen Con.
I still haven't seen that movie.
It's on Disney Plus, man.
Yeah.
Somebody find me an extra 3 hours or however long it is.
What? That's crazy, man.
That's a great one.
I also like that. I don't really want to watch it by myself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a movie better watched like with a group of friends.
Sure.
Well, yeah, you should have come with us at Gen Con instead of playing
games.
That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Missed an opportunity.
You guys are too busy demoing someone's game. I remember that in Lucas Oil Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
That was
That's
fun.
Correct.
All right.
So enough Marvel.
Yeah,
let's talk about Star Wars
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Let's do it. So who's been playing games? What have you been playing? What kind of decks? I know Jim's been cooking in the kitchen, but what else we got?
Over here, you're gonna see this posted sometime this week. Playing some Anakin Blue.
Whoa, never seen that
spicy card.
Yeah,
spicy card.
I played Maul against that, I think.
Yep, you played Maul against it.
Nice.
Not going to spoil the ending there for you, but you'll be able to watch it on the channel soon.
So you basically gave Mace Windoggy Dog the stanky boot and said, "We're just gonna play Anakin."
Okay, look, this is how I actually panned out here, Coach. I had Anakin Yellow built, and that's like one of my favorite decks to play. And then I was like, let's try something new with low effort.
Yeah.
So I just took my Anakin deck and turned it into Anakin Blue.
That's kind of what I did with Maul, because I just took my Ventress deck and stripped all the red cards out of it and then turned it into Maul, basically.
Perfect.
Love that.
It was good, though. Good games. Definitely check it out.
All right.
I have locals on Thursday I'll go to, but outside of that, I haven't played except for the ones that you've seen on the channel.
Nice.
I've been trying to make bad heroes good or bad leaders good.
Stories all the time.
Yeah. It's been tough. I'll be honest. Take that sucker on to the gauntlet and just get my butt whooped over and over and over again. So any recommendations for some fun leaders that you want to see probably lose to anything remotely close to the meta? Let me know and I'll try my best.
I think that it highlights something interesting about this game, which is that, like, I think we've talked about this before, maybe a long time ago, but the design feels so tight. The balance feels so like tightly balanced that it's hard to break out from the meta because it's so clearly obviously better than the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, but I also think we're in a meta where stuff can win. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is typically
but it has to be within that power band, right? Like, you're not.
Well, how big is the power band?
I don't know. I mean, like, if you say 9 or 10 or 12 heroes or leaders can win, like, that's cool. But there's what we talked about last time. There's like 50 something.
Didn't you say like 90?
Is it 90 something? I don't know.
54.
18 times
54.
3.
Yeah, 54. David did math.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
still
the moment
probably less
forever.
than like 25% of the possible options.
Yeah. But again,
I mean, if we have 25% of leaders viable, I think that's not terrible.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing necessarily. It's just, I don't know.
But I also don't know if I necessarily agree that that's how many are actually viable. Like, sure, Mace Windu won 1 PQ, but like that doesn't mean that he's a viable leader to play right now.
Well,
I think it says more for like the archetype than it does the leader itself in that specific case, because a lot of like Force hero leaders are all kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's the
So
same
like
deck, just different.
plug and play,
leaders.
different leader, slight variation,
Yeah.
mostly doing the blue leader thing.
Yeah, like Chirrut, Rey, Han, like Han blue, Chirrut red, Rey red, probably
Anakin
the same.
Blue.
Yeah, Anakin blue. Like, it's kind of the same deck
Mhm.
with like 5% variance in terms of how the decks play and what cards are in it.
Yeah. I think where we're going to see it all change is set 4. because a lot of these new leaders
that's going to blow things up for sure.
are very different, and I'm like, I don't know that we're seeing. Oh, that's just another version of that other card right now.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think we're in a spot right now that we're very ready for a set 4. Like I don't know about you guys.
I'm ready to see some new archetypes for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
It feels like the archetypes that existed in like set 1 and maybe a little bit of set 2 are just kind of have improved a little bit as time has gone on. But yeah, I don't know how many net new archetypes we have over the last set.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Dooku probably would have been the best chance to see that happen with like his crazy exploit stuff.
Yeah, that nukes both
probably the most unique, but
yeah, I guess like you get the red yellow sort of tempo ping kind of stuff that didn't really exist before with Django and Quinlan Voss, but yeah, that's probably like the one new interesting thing.
I mean, we have Bosk. Yeah, Bosk is a very different archetype, I think.
Yeah, but that exists.
Set 2.
It's pretty unique.
Yeah.
But that probably was the unique, interesting one for set 2, and then set 3, it's kind of these like ping Tarkin Town decks.
Yeah,
it's really popular right now.
Still so funny to me that they've claimed Bosk was just a limited leader.
I know, right?
If only they knew.
That's so good. The other thing I want to point out too, we were talking about viability, and I feel like we do this a lot in these types of channels where we automatically think Premiere, and in reality, there are more ways. That is the primary way that people play this game and enjoy it. But the fact that we have so many leaders, and you have to play some of those leaders in draft, in sealed, or you can choose to play some weird stuff in Twin Suns. That's where I like having lots of leaders and options, because I do think 100%. In those formats,
of course,
and that's more fun for me personally than even Premiere. But
for sure.
But
well, you tell us about your games, Coach.
Okay, I won a store showdown yesterday with my boy Chirrut.
Let's go.
Got the boy back on the table. I didn't make a store showdown for set 2. I don't know why. I don't remember.
Because the prizes were
probably
Proxima and whatever the other thing was.
So like the last store showdown I did in set 1 was Chirrut Tarkin Town, and I was like, I'll just bring Chirrut Tarkin Town again. And I don't have to, when I play that, it's like muscle memory. Like I don't have to think very hard about playing Chirrut at this point. So I was like, I don't want to prep. I don't want to run a bunch of games. I played against Jay last week. Those are my 2 prep games, and
they were great ones.
Yeah. I mean, I knew if I won that, but yeah, got to
just like Worlds 2018
exactly,
or whatever.
Something like that.
I just crush you, and then you go on to top 8.
But it was a blast. It was a great group of guys. Honestly, like everyone was just having fun. No one taking it too seriously, but still a lot of diversity. I don't know that there were any. I don't think there were any repeated decks.
That's cool.
It was really fun, and there was no Django. I like text my Chirrut for Django, and there wasn't any Django. I was like, okay, this is fun. But yeah, it was a great time. Really enjoyed it. So got my champion Gore. So now I'm getting Lau to send me all of his Endless Legion Gore decks, so I can perfect.
Good luck.
Yeah. But that was good. My prize packs, the guy next to me opened Anakin Showcase.
Nice.
Dang.
And it was his second Anakin Showcase. He's like, I only own one Showcase, and now I have 2 of the same.
Wow.
Now there are 2 of them.
Yep. And my prize packs had a Maul and an Ayla Legendary in my 5 packs. So it was like,
huge.
Here we go.
Big win.
There we go.
Cool.
So
big win, bro.
So it was fun.
Congrats.
Love my boy Chirrut. My favorite comment was I texted you guys. It's one of the guys at the end of it said, I can't believe Bleep and Chirrut won our showdown. And I just laughed. I was like, that makes me so happy. You have no idea.
You have to play Chirrut if you go to one of the sectors or regionals or worlds, you have to play Chirrut.
You got to play Chirrut Galactic Championships.
I honestly, I don't think I need convincing. I think I would do it. Yeah.
But if getting top 64 and being the top Chirrut gets you
get a showcase, baby.
But if he already has the showcase, is it still worth it?
That's a
But they
great
might be
question.
stamped, dog.
Yeah, if they're stamped, it's worth it.
Ooh.
That'd be pretty
He's
wild.
the Chura guy.
That'd be wild.
Then he can send the other one back to home.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
gave
give
it
her
to
dad.
him.
That's true.
That's true.
That's good. All right, let's dive in. We had a bunch of PQs, and again, shout out to swoopcompetitivehub.com, just doing amazing work for the community, getting all this stuff loaded up so we can have stuff to talk about and actually
And
know
all
what's
the
going on.
streams this weekend.
Yeah,
were great.
so
too.
many streams. Yeah.
I definitely partaked in the viewing of some of these PQs that were going on over the weekend, even though I don't care about the set 3 meta anymore. I was like, I still want to watch. I was rooting for Bobby to get a win finally because he's gone to like 100 of these and
Top
gotten
8,
top
every
8.
single one.
Wow.
That's intense. I loved having the 3 streams up at the same time and like kind of tracking and finding the interesting matchups and
It's
so
like NFL Red Zone, but for Swoop.
yeah, it was it literally
Yeah. You're
nerd
pretending
alert.
you were in your own sports bar.
That's right.
Yep, except I was in Panera, which is not as cool.
Basically, your
But,
version of.
Yeah. All right, we got to talk about this PQ in Norway. All right, guys, the 35 players, not the biggest one, but it was streamed, and there was somebody on Obi-Wan Kenobi at Pow City, double blue, 26 health base, who made it all the way to the finals and finally lost to a Han 1 yellow. Did you guys watch any of this guy's run?
Yes, I did.
You better
did watch it. It was awesome.
I don't have his name here. So
I mean, Vigilance for 4.
Vigilance for 4.
Be mad about that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan coming out as a Sentinel unit just is solid. Like
Sentinel with 8 health because he's running
Right,
Pow
Yeah,
City.
because of Pow City.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it can get really cool.
Yeah. There was some weird stuff in there. Like people were noting how there were some interesting choices. We had a couple copies of
Equalize.
Finn.
Yeah,
You guys
Finn.
remember
Finn
Finn?
was in there.
We got
Equalize was in there. No one plays that trash card.
Yep. Kashyyyk.
I'm still not convinced it's good.
Kashyyyk Defender, Midnight Repairs. Equalize is in there. Yeah, so Obi playing Vigilance at 4. Turns out Vigilance is still a good card.
Yeah.
Seems
It reminds me
Sure.
a lot of like the Bluey deck, except just Obi-Wan. Really.
Does he flip on 5 or 6?
6.
6.
Okay,
And then,
so a turn earlier.
yeah, which is good. That's why
Yeah.
I think it's better. than
Yeah,
the
because you
Chewie deck.
yeah.
from what I looked at, like the deck just looks like it absolutely stomps aggro. But there's so many roadblocks that you put in front of them and so much healing that you do.
Mhm.
And then I don't know. It didn't look like it would have had the strongest game meta control because it only had like 2 Lukes and 2 Redemption. But
I think in the control matchup, it's just going for the mill
maybe it's just the mill. Maybe it's just the
with
vigilance thing.
restocks.
Are there restocks?
No,
on the
there's no
sideboard?
restocks.
I swore I saw him play a restock.
Nope. No restocks.
Huh.
Where are you finding the deck?
Swoop Competitive
that.
Hub.
Okay,
Come on,
.com.
man.
His favorite
Get on
website.
it.
I just said that.
I'm not on it.
Weird stuff, and people were saying like only 2 Lukes, like what the heck, and like a lot of people were guessing that maybe he only owned 2 Lukes, and that's why, which is certainly reasonable. One of the comments made by the commentators, they said, what if you ran Bendu in the double blue and you were able to get Zillow Beast out at 7? So then you'd basically have like, it's not Luke, but it's also something you have to answer really quickly. So it made me want to. I actually have a blue Obi-Wan deck built in real life. It looks nothing like this, obviously, but
No copies of Finn in yours?
no Finn's in mine. I had to look Finn up to remember what he did. Honestly,
What's evidence of the crime in here for?
That's a steal thing.
Steal an upgrade that costs 3 or less and attach it to an eligible
Traders,
unit.
maybe, or
General's
Cost
Blade.
of less.
Perilous. I don't know.
Perilous maybe. Perilous position.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to. What
That's
does
cool.
it do? What does it do again?
Take control of an upgrade that costs 3 or less and attach it to an eligible unit of your choice.
Okay, yeah. So you take perilous position off your dude and put it
And
on
put
one of
it
your
on theirs.
opponents.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's pretty
interesting.
cool.
I
cool.
will say this did seem to be a little bit of prepping for Django with all the heal. There's so much healing in this thing. I mean,
Yeah,
there's still
for
the
sure.
exhausting, but But the equalize card, if you pull off an equalize and you kill a lurking tie and a tie defender or or
that's
P38,
gross.
if you kill both, I mean that's
yeah.
How often does it happen? I don't know, but
even
In
Midnight
Norway,
Repair
all the
seems kind of
time.
insane when you're like putting Obi-Wan in front of people as a big sentinel.
Mhm.
Like if they have to hit into him for like 6 or something, and then you heal that 6 back up, that's pretty big.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he definitely did that at one point.
Yeah,
And it's like you load him up with like he's got upgrades in there, I think too. I don't have the deck with stuff. Electro staff. Yeah.
Which is
You
so
just-
cool.
Voltron
really cool.
Obi-Wan.
It sounds like a really, really fun deck to play, honestly.
Yeah, and he did well. He did well.
That's all.
He got to
you'd
the
love to see
finals.
it.
He lost to Han Yellow,
Yep.
of which I think he won one of the games in the match.
No, he
went
it was 0-2.
0-2.
Yep.
Dang. The first game was really close. The second game, he was able to do the tech DJ, and it's like you just don't get to flip Obi-Wan. And
Yeah, you delay Obi-Wan by one
that
turn,
sucks.
and he really has to come out at 6.
As good as Vigilance is for 4, Cunning at 4 is disgusting.
better.
Yep.
I want to say Cunning was what won the game 1 on that one. Just when you draw it, it's just such a tempo shift.
Yep.
It's insane. I was watching another game this weekend where it looked like one person was like in prime to win, and then Cunning dropped, and it like completely shifted the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's what that card does.
It
Yeah,
does.
so good.
In other news, you guys remember good old Nick Cuenca from the Hyperloops? He made top 8 with Ray Yellow. Mike,
Ooh, cool.
Your pet
sweet.
deck.
Was it heavily
What tournament?
vehicle focused?
It was
No,
at
doesn't look
Tabletop
like it.
Gaming Center. Oh, where did I?
That's
click
cool.
that from?
It looks like
Tabletop.
somewhere on the East Coast.
Was it the McClunky game
Hartford.
stream, or was it the?
Yeah,
It was the McClunky stream.
Yeah, Connecticut, Hartford.
Okay.
Yeah, 112 players.
That's cool.
Tarkin
Yeah,
Blue
that's the one
also
Bobby was
made
at.
the Final Four.
top 4. Yeah,
Yeah, that was really cool to see.
The finals was Han Yellow versus Han Yellow. I know they didn't play it out. I think there's like a snowstorm up there going on, so they got to the finals and then stopped playing. But
Yep.
it was a
RIP.
mirror match, so Han Yellow technically won, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's crazy. He was playing a lurking TIE Phantom in his sideboard.
Huh.
That's awesome.
Dang, that for 5 though, insane.
That's wild. But if you're
Do
playing
you
against an
sneak
opponent who
attack
can't
it or
interact
something?
with it,
Do you
I
just
don't
like
think
sneak
so.
attack it?
No,
or
there's no
like,
sneak attack. I think you just play it, and then if you're
Buffet.
against control that doesn't have access to, like isn't planning on dealing damage to it to kill it. You just
Honestly, though,
buff
that
it
with
Ray, and then it's.
I
what do
mean,
they
Power
do?
of the Dark Side Merciless Contest, like tech, if you thought
Yeah.
against control style stuff, you just put that out there.
That's very cool. I like that.
what are the traits on Lurking Tie too?
Imperial Vehicle Fighter.
Because you could theoretically now there are two of them that out with another ship. Right?
No,
Neither
the other
to
two
them is
doesn't
Non-vehicle.
work.
Yeah.
Non-vehicle. Got it.
Yeah.
Wild.
They thought of
RIP.
everything.
Wild.
Yep.
All right. Other interesting ones. I did see the flipping Palpatine made a Final Four in Bozeman, Montana, which I thought would make Jimbo
That's
happy.
cool.
Absolutely does.
Flipping chop.
The flipping Palpatine.
The
Yeah,
flipping
was it-
Palpatine. Change
was
for
it blue?
Palpatine for those who are very confused by what David was trying to say.
Flipping
There.
Palpatine.
What was it with blue or red?
Yeah.
Is blue.
Cool.
Nice.
Yep.
Love that.
That is very
Yep.
cool.
It was Jim's list actually.
Nah, it's probably not true.
Okay.
Probably pretty close. I mean, it's a decent just yellow blue shell, but now I'd imagine
Yep.
much different.
Yep. All right. I know there's still some PQs happening this weekend. I know there's one in Indianapolis. I was trying to see if I could go, and I cannot. But I know we've
Dang.
got maybe a couple more weeks as the season's
It
wrapping
seems
up.
like there's a lot of planetary qualifiers this time.
Yeah, they like
Like
quadrupled it.
multiple per weekend.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is so much fun.
Sadly, still the only one in my area is in San Francisco, and I am not going to San Francisco for
Dang.
that.
Mike, just move here, man. I've
Just
told
move
you
to
how many
Chicago,
times am I going to
Mike.
tell you to move to Chicago?
Sorry, what temperature is it out right now?
All right, let me check. I'll hold it
Like
up to
6?
the screen so I'm not lying. No, it's 9. Okay. Can you-
Nice.
I was joking when I was
insane.
giving
It's
single
9.
digits.
Mine's
That's actually insane.
So
Mine's
it-
28. So
Oh,
It does
God.
say
Okay, well,
it
is.
feels like -6. I don't know if that impacts your decision.
It's 60 today here, so yes, it does impact my decision.
It's 75 here.
That's a little on the warm side for me. So
This is
No,
nuts.
it's
I live in a very specific band between like 60 and 70, and that's it. That's my ideal temperature.
That is nice. That is nice.
I don't think anywhere in the world exists where I can get that all year round. At least that I could afford.
All right. Well, moving on. We have a topic that we haven't hit at all on our channel, and it's kind of. I think we kind of
Probably a
forgot
lot
that we
of
didn't
those.
talk about it.
I think we were just scared, honestly.
We're waiting for the dust to settle.
We were so we're gonna talk about rotation. They announced rotation for Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah, for Marvel Champions and Arkham Horror.
Yeah.
That too.
That also. Everything's rotating, guys. But basically, rotation for our friends who are new to TCGs is a pretty normal thing. And how it's done differs game to game. We found out that essentially for Star Wars Unlimited, how rotation will work is next year in March, when set 7 drops, set 1, 2, and 3 will rotate out. And so you can imagine there's like a block of 3 sets that will rotate out every time there's that next March that hits. So when set 10 hits, then 4, 5, and 6 will cycle out. And so you'll only be able to play 7, 8, 9, and 10, et cetera, et cetera. And so they've said they're going to support an Eternal format. They've said Twin Suns is Eternal, which makes my heart happy. So there are ways that you can use your cards. My biggest question is whether there will be like a trilogies format similar to Destiny, where you could only play the current block. I always loved that format.
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah, what are your reactions to this news? Is it shocking? Is it pretty much what you expected? Happy, sad, indifferent?
Who wants to go first? What do you think?
I think happy, which seems to go against the loud keyboard warriors. I think with rotation in particular, trying to just design a game without rotation feels like a nightmare. And cards that like are potentially problematic, the more that you add, it's like you're always having to design around these crazy ideas. Like Admiral Mahdi is one that we kind of joke about a lot. But as long as Mahdi's in the game, you always have to be thinking if there's a way to like kill this unit and ready something. Like readying is just a very powerful mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of clears after a while. Some of those, it kind of lets you just design around it. It also allows you to not have to strictly power creep for people to buy new sets, which I like. I don't want, like, if I were to leave the game and come back and all of a sudden, like, everyone's doing, I don't know, 5 damage on turn 1, like, with their units, I'm like, what is this game anymore? It's just not something that I can recognize. And so, I don't know. I'm grateful that the game can basically look the same style of play, just with a lot of different variations of, like, new mechanics and things going on that can just be different, not stronger.
All right. Yeah. I think there definitely needs to be rotation. If you want, take a look at Flesh and Blood that has not had rotation. Not a real rotation. They have Living Legend, which is a soft rotation. But look at the amount of cards that they've had to ban because they don't have a rotation. Like cards that came out in the first couple sets, Command and Conquer, which hasn't been banned, but like Art of War and all of these staple cards are broken. They have a huge ban list because of all this. And then you have to worry about the Living Legend system as well, because it's like you can't just pick up an old set and play those heroes out of the box. You have to see, is this one Living Legend? Is this one Living Legend?
It's weird because you're discouraged to buy any of the old product because of that. And so it's like, okay, people have access to the Command and Conquer. Yes, they've reprinted that one in particular, but some of the other ones that aren't reprinted, it's like there's no other motivation to like buy that product outside of, I hope I pull that one card that I might need.
That game would be so much better right now if they had a rotation. So in my opinion, you have to have rotation. It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, I'd piggyback off that. I'd say it was inevitable, and so inevitable that like Fantasy Flight and the devs do not have a choice. Like there is no world in which there's a successful long-running TCG that doesn't have some kind of rotation, I'm not counting Yu-Gi-Oh because that game is ridiculous and similarly has a ban list as long as I don't know, something funny.
But the power creep
but
of that game is also so crazy that it's
yeah,
like, if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not doing OTKs,
exactly.
what are you doing?
Yeah. I don't think generally people want that in their card games. I mean, the argument is like, oh, well, I don't get to play with the cards that I bought 3 years ago. But like in the alternative world, you don't get to play with those cards anyway because they're outclassed by the new cards that have come out that are better.
Correct.
So I think there's de facto rotation no matter what you do, and it's so much easier for the developers to design cards and develop the game around a known set of cards that work in an environment together.
Mhm.
So for the people who don't think that this is a good idea, I don't know, maybe spend more time thinking about it. look back at some historical examples, and I don't know, it's pretty clear that this is kind of the only way to do it.
What would be your counterpoint to somebody that complains about it because the value of the cards drop after a set rotates out?
It depends on the game, but
in this game,
well, it's hard to say because it hasn't happened yet, so we don't know what is actually going to happen to the value of cards.
Sure.
They might not drop. Like there are games where that happens, right? Where like the cards rotate out, but the prices don't really change that much for the higher end cards. Like maybe I don't know, your random uncommon that is played in every deck that's no longer playable in decks is kind of drops out. But I don't know. I feel like that argument is pretty flimsy, and also if your motivation is in playing the cards that you open, like you can still do that. You don't have to follow the rules, right? Like you can just play at the kitchen table with your friends. I mean, the other downside is like, especially like set one cards. I mean, we've already seen it set 1 through 3. Like your deck is like 80% set one cards, and unless they power creep, all future sets, it's like you're going to see takedown in every deck forever if there's no rotation. It's like you want in a game like this for the like answers and the threats to like shift and change and freshen up throughout the life cycle of the game. Like Marvel Snap is kind of like this. I was watching a video about this last week where their argument was that because Marvel Snap doesn't have like a rotation and they don't have like a big drop of cards at once like most other card games does, makes the game feel really stale because it's like, your Shang-Chi is like the same now as it was at the beginning and you're still putting it in every deck 3 years later. And so
not even it's been nerfed since
true. And it's still in every deck. So it's like all the tech cards are exactly the same to combat all the new cards that come out. So it's like, when a brand new card comes out, everybody wants to play it and it has a bunch of power, everybody else puts Shang-Chi in the deck, and then if it's a powerful ongoing card, you put Enchantress in. It's just like kind of the same thing over and over again. It starts to feel very samey and very kind of like, I don't know, boring compared to the alternative. So I'm on board. I agree with David, though. I do think that it is cool when they use that to their advantage and they do like block format where it's like just, like sets 4 through 6 in a block. And I don't know. It's another way to play, another way to keep it fresh. I also similarly really enjoyed trilogies in Star Wars Destiny. So yeah.
Because then you can do weird stuff with like even like PQs. You could say like, oh, this PQ is, I'll just call it trilogies.
Yeah, it's like this format.
Yeah, you can actually have a little bit of a, oh, here, this one is different. I might go to that one because that one's different. I don't like, or like if you don't like the current meta because of a variety of reasons, it gives you an alternate way to play and still enjoy the game. Just like the way I feel about drafting Twin Suns. I'm like, I want to do that all the time, but it's not.
And I think right now, so like at some point in the future, if Star Wars Unlimited has such a huge audience that we're able to break it down into having sub formats that are popular. So like if we ever have an infinite format that like a bunch of people play, that's really cool because you still have that option, right? But like right now, the majority, like I'd say 90% of the people that buy Star Wars and play Star Wars Unlimited are competitive players. And it's like you have to cater to that to some degree. And I think having rotation is definitely like a competitively focused thing, and that's what the majority of the players are. So it's like it's not collectors that are worried about losing their money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I mean, collectors are after different cards anyway, so
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like I've heard the complaint of, well, why would I buy any of the last set in a block if all I get is a year and 4 months with those cards? And
still a long time.
And I'm like, yeah, and my response is like, hey, TCGs, a lot of them only last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Like there's a reality in which when they announced Star Wars Unlimited, a lot of people were like, oh, but what if it just dies one day, and then what if it doesn't go forever and ever like Magic? And I'm like, then I think we all collectively said like, well, then we're just gonna enjoy the ride while it's going.
Nothing lasts forever. Like
right. Like I think if you're looking at this game purely from a financial investment side, there's probably better ways to spend your money if that's what is most concerning to you.
Right.
I think a year and 4 months of playing, like if you're going to the locals, if you're showing up to a tournament here or there, playing at your kitchen table, whatever, to me it's like that's worth it. But I mean, no one is forced to play this. I mean, if that bothers them that much, I'm like,
go play something else.
Yeah, they're board games, are eternal, right? Like get a board. Board games don't rotate.
I mean, or treat this like a board game and just play with your friends and not care about what the official rules are.
Right. Yep. You can do whatever you want at your kitchen table.
One thing I will say is that Magic used to do this a long time ago, where they would have a block of sets, and it would be like part 1, part 2, part 3, basically of the same story or theme or whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool and really fun, and made a lot more sense in a system like this, where you're rotating that whole block out. If they are related to each other in terms of theme and or mechanics, where like you have, imagine set 2, the smuggler stuff, like that was a block. And so set 1, set 2, and set 3 of that year were all sort of like smugglers, bounty hunters, that kind of thing. They all had things that interacted with the cards in your resource row, like smuggle and maybe other similar effects. I find that enjoyable, and that also like makes a block constructed format more interesting and more fun, I think, because those cards are meant to sort of work well together. But Magic stopped doing it a while ago. I have no idea if Star Wars is planning on doing this. I enjoyed it, so I think it'd be cool to see that again.
Yep.
One really interesting thing about rotation is this is the only time we will ever be in a 3-set format.
Ever, yeah.
For Premiere.
Yeah. And then it'll always be what?
4
sets or more?
4 to 6.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That's another crazy thing to me too, though, is like set 1 came out less than a year ago.
It was March last year?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, we've only had those cards for a year. And we've gotten plenty of play out of it. Like if you told me set 1 rotated out in 3 months, I'd be like, bummer, but I got my use out of them.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm actually thinking about what does like 15 to 16 months really feel like, I'm like, I'd be okay if like Tarkentown and ECL like started to actually rotate out.
Yeah. It also, I don't know if this is something that FFG is considering, or if this is things that players have brought up, but I feel like it makes marketing a little bit easier, and it makes it can allow you to sort of like pinpoint a good entry point for new players, where you say like the first set in a new block is like the time that you push for new players into the game, because that's going to be the time when you shake things up, that you have a smaller card pool, you have new mechanics, and you can use that first set of a block to like introduce themes and concepts and stuff, and get people who haven't played yet interested in it, rather than just, if everything is legal all the time, the card pool just grows forever. It becomes impossible to get into.
Sure. Yep. And in addition to that, like jumping in 4 years when there's infinite amount of freaking sets, but like the logistics of trying to keep all of those sets SKUs like active, and
impossible
from a retail perspective.
It's such a joke. Like that's never gonna happen.
And I am glad that like set 4, they are introducing a lot of new things for new players to get excited. Like spotlight decks are starter decks, but they're much different. Like I want to just go get the deck, and it's a very easy like entry point rather than getting the full 2-player set. The Carbonite packs is some people's cup of tea, some not, but it's something unique and something different that it's like
something new that they're
to a newer
introducing.
player.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
even the new like Gamegenic products. Like it makes sense
Yeah.
for them to release at this time versus like if that stuff came out at set 3, they're able to sort of smash a bunch of stuff together into like one big push to get people into the new block or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm really grateful. Like FFG's been very open about. Everything's been kind of a slow rollout for this game, which I think we want everything right up the like front end of it. But they've been very thoughtful about what they're bringing to the table and how they're introducing things. And so I feel like it's been pretty clean, not perfect, but pretty good.
It's such a night and day between old FFG during Star Wars Destiny and now, like insane.
Yeah.
So for all the haters back a year and a half ago when they were talking crap about FFG and Star Wars Unlimited coming out,
we used to get so many comments on our videos.
Look at us
like,
now,
oh, this
Coach.
game isn't gonna be there in 6 months.
Yeah,
everything's gonna be delayed. Blah blah blah. Like
we had plenty of product.
Yeah. Well,
like
set one
was sold out, but you could get as much of it as you wanted.
Yeah, they quickly changed.
And then they very quickly did the reprints. No one's talking about not being able to get product.
Right. Yep.
One quick just anecdotal evidence of just new players getting into the game. I hired a guy not knowing he was a TCG player, and then like week 1 on the job, we kind of figured it out. I was like, oh man. I was like, I should have asked you that in the interview, but I said,
how's that not an interview question?
Yeah, I was like, Thursdays at lunch, we play Star Wars Unlimited. Here's all the links. Here's all the things, whatever. And like, he's like, I'm in, right? So
on Wednesdays we wear pink. On Thursdays we play Star Wars Unlimited.
But anyway, so he's got a Magic background, Pokemon background, so he kind of gets it. But so right around the time he started, they announced the rotation stuff, and he's like, oh great. He's like, I'm just gonna buy singles for one deck that I like right now, and then I'm not gonna worry about buying boxes and packs and everything. I'm just gonna, starting with set 4, I'll start buying boxes and stuff and just kind of fill the decks as needed from there if I need singles for other decks. So he's like, I like Anakin and Anakin Blue, so he's like, I'm just gonna buy the singles for that deck and I'm gonna play that for now. And then he's gonna get into set 4, and I'm like, that's why rotation is good for a new player. Otherwise, he'd be like, oh man, I gotta go back and buy how much product, and I have to, and the barrier of entry is just too high.
Yeah, I mean, he really could just start buying at set 4.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like skip set 1 through 3, except for the cards that you need, and start buying set 4.
Yeah. So,
great point.
And again, you can always play Twin Suns with me. It's eternal. So,
that's right.
If it really upsets you, just play Twin Suns.
I also don't think that this game gets enough credit for its draft system. I think that the draft in this game is really good, and the design of the way they make the mechanics work and everything are really good.
Yeah. Even sealed is really enjoyable and fun. Like there's some games I've played a sealed format and it is just like atrocious trying to like put something together. And this one feels pretty clean.
Yeah. I will forever ring the bell of like, we need more competitive draft events.
That's one of the first things that at least I brought up back in the day especially when we had Josh Massey on. I was like, when are we going to get competitive draft and sealed? Because that's what Flesh and Blood did back when I was playing that. I was like, I want more of that because that's fun.
And it's a whole other strategy. I mean,
it's a different skill set.
Yeah,
I would have a lot more fun playing competitive draft than competitive constructed.
I agree
personally.
Yeah. That competitive draft event, I know I've talked about it already, but I mean, it was literally probably the highlight of my TCG career. And I've played in like lots of things, but that was the most fun. And like,
are you talking about the one with when we beat Golden Dice at Gen Con?
Yeah. Way it was just unplayable against Golden Dice. We won 3-1.
That was the competitive draft event you're talking about.
I didn't lose. I just ran out of cards, Jim.
Well,
yeah. And Jack almost ran out of cards, so I don't think either of us really won.
Look, if I'm the only one that hasn't won a store showdown and I get crap for that, you can get crap for this one.
Oh wait, have you still not won a store showdown?
David, please. We're ragging on you right now.
The man top 8's a PQ, but doesn't win a showdown.
Come at me.
That's good. good.
I got top 8 in the showdown, at least the one that I went to. So
That's good.
it's all good.
But yeah, get more competitive draft events. Man, I'm hoping we see something.
Yes, please.
Show up at like the Galactic Championships where they announce like, hey, we're doing this big draft competitive thing, and I'm like, I'm in. Like, I would skip the main event just to play in that, because that would be so much, especially right after set 5 drops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm going to do the whole weekend. It's just draft set 5.
and play Twin Sons with
You
me
know what's
until
a
you love
great
it.
idea? It's
Maybe.
competitive spotlight tournament. But you don't get to choose which one you get to play. You're
You
just
get a
randomly
random
given
spotlight.
one.
that sounds terrible.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I was saying they did that with like Lorcana.
pass on that one.
Like,
That's the
That's
joke.
the
I'm
joke.
making.
Yeah, okay, cool. 'Cause it was not fun.
sucked.
No, that was bad.
It was terrible.
I wasn't
That was
catching the
bad.
sarcasm like everybody else was, so that's on me.
I think is that actually an event though? I think that is an event.
Oh, I hope
What?
not.
For
The spotlight deck event.
oh,
for the
I'm sure, but it's
championships, right?
probably like learn to play or something like that.
I was saying, it feels like an event you do for
maybe.
like a convention, not for the World Championships where everyone who's going already knows the game well.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I would argue, but maybe I'm also wrong. I could be wrong.
Mm.
I think I am wrong, in fact. So
There you go.
had to verify my own.
They heard
fact
us talk so much crap about the Lorcana one that they were like, "We're not doing this."
I
I
mean,
Star Wars
do this.
Unlimited.
It makes sense for a convention where
for
you're trying to like,
convention
show
it'd
off
be
your game.
fine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
a tournament where there are only 2 possible decks is also not very exciting.
Awful. Hey, speaking of big tournaments, we got asked on YouTube if we're going to Denver or Minneapolis for the sector regional qualifier.
Yeah, Mike, are we?
No, wait, are we
I
going
thought
where?
we were going to Minneapolis.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Come
I thought
on.
you and David were locking those plans in, Coach.
It's possible.
Weren't
It's
you looking at?
Twist
Plane
it on a little
tickets?
bit.
I was looking at flights. They aren't that expensive, so it may work.
Yeah.
And the hotels are dirt cheap, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure someone there would let us room with them if we needed to. Xander.
Nobody wants our stuff.
They,
We just come in with duffel bags of shoes trying to sell it to them.
oh gosh. Yeah. So I'm trying to go to Minneapolis. We'll see.
I would love to.
That'd be
I would
fun.
love to get to
I've
go
got to
to
get
one.
off work
Yeah, that'd be
and,
fun.
and a few other things work out.
Especially since it's going to be set 4.
but,
Yeah.
My
It'd be fun to do like one big set 4 event. Because set 4 looks so fun. And I obviously would play Pilot Ventress. So
Whoa, spoilers, man! People are listening. You're gonna be teched again so hard now.
yeah, it's fine. They already know I'm playing Pilot Ventress and Mahdi in my deck.
So, will you play double Ventress Twin Sons?
100%. Yeah, that will make me play Twin Sons. And
Okay,
that,
there it
maybe that is the magic of Twin Sons.
There it is.
We got there.
Why have one Ventress when you can have 2?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ventress, Tarkentown.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's good.
And then, so these will be the only big events that we have for set 4 because we're not going to have PQs. We'll
Oh,
have
really?
store showdowns, but
I thought there were PQs for every
Yeah, I
set.
thought we had.
oh, they do.
I'm
PQs
pretty sure
for
they have
every set?
PQs for
I
every
thought
set.
they did.
Oh, my bad. I was wrong.
Sorry if you guys can hear my dog right now.
I didn't think we had a PQ for set
Okay.
1.
We didn't. They didn't do it for
they didn't exist
set 1
at the time.
Yeah,
Got it.
store showdowns were basically the PQs.
Yeah. They were
Yeah.
sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they felt sweaty.
But yeah, there should be PQs.
So we'll have PQs, then we'll have the big regionals and sectors.
David, did your store showdown feel like a casual event?
Yeah.
The one you just went
I
to.
love that.
Oh yeah. I
Okay.
mean, people were like, people were super casual and laughing about it. Someone brought like chocolate dipped like fruit from their Valentine's
fun.
Day thing. And
Nice.
it's just like, it was just like,
Okay,
this is
I
so
like it.
weird, but
That's
let's go. Come on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're eating chocolate covered strawberries and slinging some swoo, you know.
So, could you imagine? Oh, man.
If that's not
crazy.
casual, I don't know what is.
Mine did
I love hearing
not.
that. No, yours did not. Yours was sweaty.
I didn't go to a set 2 one, and then I went to one set 3
Set three.
one. It was like a month or so
Mhm.
ago, and it didn't feel casual at all.
Yeah.
But if it was fun, and the people I was playing with were like we had a great time,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
they
yeah.
were definitely there to win.
Yeah. I gotcha. I imagine it very much depends on your local.
Yeah. I have a lot of
community.
like really good players in mine, and they're all like sweaty. So
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
yeah.
Chicago's the capital.
David's
the
got
swoop
all
capital
trash,
of the world.
all trash players. So it felt
Yeah.
casual.
It is the swoop capital of the world. We know.
I mean,
how to
that's
do
why he
things.
won, right?
All right. 1v1 me right now. Let's go.
There
Pop
it is.
down, camera. Here we go.
Every time I text you to 1v1 me, you always leave me on red, but that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. What I was thinking about, we were talking about Galactic Championships at the Store Showdown and how, because everyone, so one of the guys was asking like, wait, I'm confused why it's why are these called qualifiers like the sector and regional? I don't get like, what are we qualifying for? And it was like, well, normally it'll be for the chance to play at the Galactic Championships, right? But really it's just a day one bye because everybody's invited to the first one. But then
Is that true? Like, are they more restricted the second year Galactic Champion?
yeah, you have to earn point. It's so the point system is going
the
to
point
start.
system they're going to potentially
and
do.
I think I heard, I don't quote me, but that the first event where you can collect points will be at the Galactic Championship. So because we're in season 0, season 1 will start at the Galactic Championship. So if you don't go farther in the event, you could actually win points toward earning your spot for.
I'm very, very nervous about the system.
The point system?
Because one, they're using melee.
Yeah, I hate melee.
And 2, nothing that they have created software wise has been up to par.
Yeah, they don't have the best track record there.
So like their SWODB deck builder, or not SWODB, but their Star Wars Unlimited deck builder.
Right there.
Yeah, it's so inconsequential that you actually said SWODB.
Shout out
their
Parker.
actual official deck builder is kind of trash. And
That's
then
funny.
the software that they created to run events before they linked up with Melee was not great. And now Melee is not great. I'm very nervous about this whole situation. I hope they pull it off. Don't get me wrong.
That's a good
I
point.
hope it works.
Yeah.
But I'm nervous. I'm also nervous if weeklies start contributing towards points because I'm pretty sure weeklies do. And
I don't think they're supposed to.
No, I don't think weeklies do.
Because that makes the environment way
really
different.
No, because that's the separation of like the competitive level where PQs are the start of earning
of
points.
The points
so
earning.
PQ, sector, regional, and higher.
Interesting.
So store showdowns won't count, like locals won't count. I do remember
how
back
many
in my
individual players have participated in a PQ, and how many.
Well, that would be interesting.
Like how many actual human beings that is, and if there are more people than are planning on attending the Galactic Championships this year.
Yeah. It also feels really bad if you have to travel in order to earn points. Like, I'm not going to 10 PQs next season.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, for any season. You know what I mean? Like, do I have to become
you need to be like a
dedicated
pro
player for Star Wars Unlimited in order to go to Worlds?
Which, the fact there's no, like, technically money to, like, be won, it's like you can't reasonably do that.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. We know nothing about it right now. I do know they made a great hire in hiring local Chicago legend Ron for their OP team.
The birthplace of Blue.
And I trust his he knows this stuff. Like that's the stuff I'm like, I know I have no idea how involved he is with any of this, but I just for at least Chicago locals like, oh, okay, Ron's there, we're good. Like we just feel better about it. So I don't know if that's blind faith, but he did run like the best PQ for set 1 that everybody was talking about. So we'll see. And I know he loves competitive drafting because he's the one who made that event. So my fingers are crossed.
And took it down. So
yeah. All right, I think that's all we had to talk about. We kind of followed some rabbit trails, but that's fun. Haven't done that in a while.
That's the best way to run
the podcast. Is the
conversation lab, not the
If anybody wants to know like how we just operate on a day-to-day basis, there you go.
This isn't the scripted lab.
Yeah,
this isn't the follow the directions lab. This is.
I'm very bad at that.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
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 Bye.